Hello, everybody. Welcome to the show tonight. Let's see if you guys can see me. Let me adjust this a little bit. All right, there we go. Let me get it back on the live chat so I can see that. Okay, so I am trying out Wirecast. I'm trying to get to know this program so I can have guests back on. And I know you all have been missing the guests. You've been having to put up with me. So hopefully I can have a guest on in the near future if we can get this Wirecast thing figured out. So I am going to have a giveaway at the end. I only have a couple extra larges left. I brought them to church and let my ladies take what they wanted, and now I have like 2 extra larges left. So we're going to be doing a giveaway for an extra large Gently Led Sister shirt at the end. So stay tuned. I might ask one of the questions going along with what we are talking about tonight. So stay tuned to the very end for that giveaway. Remind me in the chat to do it if I forget. I did not put it in my notes, so sometimes I forget things. So how is everyone doing on this Monday? I was just talking to the pastors' wives today, and I don't know about the rest of you, but Mondays are not super great days for me. It's kind of crazy. My kids are tired. We're at church almost all day on Sunday. And I know a lot of you probably drive distances and you're at church as well the entire day. So how are your guys' Mondays? Do you love Mondays? Do you hate Mondays? I, for one, am not fond of them. I feel like by Tuesday we're back in our groove. So I prefer Tuesday through Friday for schooling. So let me know if you guys love or hate Mondays. So anyways, I wanted to talk about this subject tonight. Let me wait. Someone tell me that they can hear me. I just want to make sure this is working. Okay, good. You can hear me. So Mondays are a sleepy day. That is right. I was so sleepy. I was on the couch today nursing at like 3 o'clock and I almost fell asleep. So most of the pastors' wives I was talking to, especially the ones with younger kids, were saying Mondays are terrible. So I think it's just a thing. Hi, Morgan. So anyways, tonight I wanted to talk about embracing your strengths and realizing your weaknesses. And I also want to talk about how sometimes even when you do realize your strengths can be your weaknesses, if that makes sense. Karen Rodriguez and I were actually talking about this last week, and we were thinking of a lot of different examples in the Bible when it comes to this. And if you guys have any other examples that you could think of, go ahead and put them in the chat. I know there are so many. There is the example of just like King Saul, how he was a great leader, but his leadership, his abilities ended up turning into him being prideful and rebellious. And he actually messed up really bad because of his pride. And a lot of times leaders can develop that. So that was one of the areas where one of his strengths became one of his biggest weaknesses. Also, like David, he was a man after God's own heart. And he did, I believe, have the gift of compassion. Think about when the prophet came to him and was telling him the story about the man with the sheep. And David was infuriated because someone had taken this man's, sheep. And so I do think he had the gift of compassion, but I also think that sometimes that was his greatest weakness, like when it came to his son, what he did to his daughter, to Tamar. So he did not deal with his son's sin like he should have, and it brought shame on the whole family. So if you can think of any other examples, another one was Moses that I thought of. He was also a great leader, but with that, he tended to take things in his own hands, like when he was upset at the children of Israel, and he was supposed to speak to the rock, and he smote it, and that angered God greatly. So he was not able to go to the promised land because of that. So there are just different examples throughout the Bible where people did have great strengths, but they also became their weaknesses. So if you can think of anything else, go ahead and put it in the chat. Amber, that sounds nice. She said the kids are all playing with their daddy and I'm eating my dessert in peace while they play. That sounds like a dream. That sounds very, very fun. So, oftentimes as women, this is near and dear to my heart because we face guilt for many things. We have mom guilt, and maybe we think that we aren't doing enough, we're not being enough. We might also look at other women and we see traits that we admire, such as organization, tidiness, good speaking abilities, patience, and we think that we aren't measuring up to others. And the truth is, though, that God has gifted us all with different abilities and different strengths. So we're going to go through some of these strengths, and we're going to kind of hit on different personality types, extrovert versus introvert, because when you know what you are, you can really tell what a lot of your strengths and weaknesses are. 6 Million asked, what's your opinion on a woman giving pointers, critique to husband if they go soul winning together? Is that a woman usurping authority over the man? I don't think so. If he is asking you for tips, if he's saying, what are some areas I can improve on? I know even with my husband, if I point something out to him, he's fine with it as long as I don't just keep pointing it out over and over and over again. So maybe, if your husband is wanting your opinion, then I would just give it and then just leave it at that. Don't keep bringing it up over and over again. If he doesn't change, or, if he thinks his way is better, then don't nag him about it. So that's what I would say about that. So let's go through some of the pros and the cons of all these different things. And, at the end of the day, we all have to learn to embrace our strengths and realize our weaknesses and make the most of both of them. So, maybe there is an area where you are weak in. You don't need to beat yourself up over that. You can always look to improve yourself, but you also don't want to force yourself to be something that you're not, going off of other expectations of, wow. Okay, so let's, just a minute. I'm going to block this troll. There we go. And Kimmy, if you're still on, if you could just stay on top of that. That was a really bad troll. So I am glad that YouTube automatically hid that person. So let's go over, let's start with extroverts, because I am an extrovert, so I understand the extrovert mind, where I don't understand introverts quite as much. Now, I do more than I used to, because I seem to be drawn to introverts. So that's fine, Kimmy. I seem to be drawn to introverts, and I don't know if this is true, but I think it's kind of funny. I saw something, it was like a meme or something on Facebook that said, it said introverts don't have any friends. What happens is that an extrovert comes along and adopts them. So I don't know if that's true or not. It's kind of proved true in my case. Most of my best friends are introverts. So I don't know why that is. I don't know if my strong personality scares off other women, and introverts just, I don't know. I don't know what it is, but all my close friends are introverts. So, okay. So one thing with an introvert, or an extrovert, I'm sorry. One thing with an extrovert is that they connect well with people. So, extroverts are very good at talking socially, scanning the crowd, working the room as it is. And they're very, very good at that. So that is one good thing about an extrovert. But the opposite of that is that a lot of times their boldness scares people off. So I have to be careful not to overwhelm people, especially introverts. So that is one area. I'm going to pause for a minute. Allie V asked advice on how to get saved. Are you looking for advice on how to get saved? Getting saved is a very, very simple thing. I am going to take just a couple minutes and direct you to some videos, but also just put it out there. Being saved has nothing to do with your works, or if you're good enough. No one is good enough to work their way to heaven, because the Bible says there is none righteous, no, not one, which means we've all sinned. The Bible says for all have sinned and come short of the glory of God. Coming short means that we do not have what it takes to get into heaven. And so God had to send his son, Jesus Christ, to pay for our sins on Calvary. And he bore all our sins, and he died for us. And he paid for all the sins in the past. He paid for all the present. He paid for all the future sins. And there is nothing that we could ever do to pay our debt. Jesus Christ paid it all. So in order to get saved, you have to realize that you're a sinner, and that you can never earn your way to heaven. And you have to understand that it's a free gift. Jesus Christ paid for it all. There's nothing you can do to earn it. And then it's forever. John 3:16 says, for God so loved the world that he sent his only begotten Son, that whosoever believeth in him should not perish but have everlasting life. It says whosoever believeth, not whosoever is good enough, whosoever works their way to heaven. Whosoever believeth on him should not perish but have everlasting. That word everlasting means forever and ever and ever. So you have to realize that it's also forever. God is not going to give you a gift and then take it away. You cannot be good enough to earn your way to heaven, but you cannot be bad enough to lose your salvation once you accept that gift. So basically, it's believing on the Lord Jesus Christ, and it's calling upon him. It's saying, Lord, I know I'm a sinner. Lord, I know I can't work my way to heaven. I believe in you. I put all my faith and trust in you, and I want to be saved. I accept your gift of salvation, and I believe that I will be, I believe that I can never work my way to heaven. So it's basically calling upon him. For whosoever shall call upon the name of the Lord shall be saved. Believe on the Lord Jesus Christ and thou shalt be saved. So that's just it in a nutshell. Look up Liberty Baptist Church of Rock Falls on YouTube, and there is a Bible Way to Heaven. And my husband goes over it more in depth, but it's very short. It's like 10 minutes. If you really, really want to know how to get saved, check that video out. So I definitely wanted to touch on that since someone asked about it. So this channel is to help Christian women, but it's also to reach those that aren't saved, that don't know how to be saved. So I wanted to put that out there since someone asked about it. But yes, Amanda said she's totally relatable to being an extrovert. I have to be careful. If I want to know something about someone, I just ask them. And for most people, you would be surprised actually. Most people are perfectly fine with talking about themselves. They don't mind talking about themselves. So when I ask them, I don't think that maybe I did and I didn't know about it and they went home talking about me. I don't know. But I don't think I've offended many people by just asking them things. And the reason that I ask people things is I want to get to know them. I'm not, thank you, Kimmy. I'm not like spying or prying or anything in their personal lives. That's just my way of getting to know people. So I'm an open book. If people ask me things, I don't mind telling them. And I just kind of treat other people the same way. So anyways, Samantha, that's exactly how I feel. She said, I prefer people to ask me things. It's better than assuming. Exactly. And I've also been like that when it does come to gossip. One way to nip gossip in the bud is if someone comes to you with gossip, tell that person, okay, that's a valid concern. Let's go talk to that person right now. And I found that a lot of times, and I am not afraid of confronting someone, asking them, hey, what's going on? I heard this. Is this true? So I will go to that person and ask. I've liked it over the years when people have heard about us going off the deep end, so to say, which I don't believe we have, but going off the deep end, when they have approached me or they have texted me, they have messaged me and they've said, hey, I've heard this is going on. And then I'm able to talk to them and explain things, and it ends very, very well. The ones that are gossiping, talking about us behind our back, saying horrible things behind our back, but never once talking to us to our face, those are the ones spreading lies and spreading slander and things like that. So I appreciate it when people come directly to me. So another thing about an extrovert is that we're good speakers normally. We don't mind getting in front of a crowd. I might get an adrenaline rush when I speak. Even every Monday night, I feel like I can power through it a lot of times, even when I don't feel well, because I get an adrenaline rush. So we might get an adrenaline rush, but I can't say that I'm really nervous anymore. Now, when Leslie and I first started the channel, I was a little nervous at first just because I was out of my comfort zone. I had never done it. I don't like doing things I'm not sure about or how to run it. That's why like this Wirecast thing even makes me nervous, because I'm not used to running it. So I was a little out of my comfort zone when it came to the technical things. But as far as like speaking, I can't say that I'm really nervous about it. One thing that has encouraged me, and this is just to you moms that maybe want your children to be a little more extroverted. Maybe you're an introvert and you're like, I have such a hard time in social situations or performing. I want my children to do better. So one thing that really helped me and my siblings, and even my siblings that were introverts, this really helped them, was my mom had us in music lessons from the time we were young, and we did recitals. So we did performances. I started being a church pianist when I was 16. I was kind of thrown into that. And if it wasn't for all of the recitals that I had been in, I took voice, flute, and piano. So I would do all three of those things. I would sing, I would play the flute, and I would do piano in recitals. So if it wasn't for all of the performance opportunities, I don't think I would have been I was still nervous, don't get me wrong, when I was 16 thrown into it, but I don't think I would have even had the confidence. So one thing that really encourages confidence in children is performance opportunities. So get them in music lessons and have them start playing in church when there's a chance for them to maybe play the congregational preludes before at my old church. And I need to start doing this with the ones in my church. At my old church, about 10-15 minutes before, we would have them practice playing the preludes, the hymns, and things like that. And that's a really good opportunity. So Amber, I get nervous, yes, when I am playing like a difficult song that I've worked on, I've really practiced, and I don't want to mess it up. So I get nervous, yes. So when I'm doing that, and you know, a little bit of nervousness keeps you on your toes a little bit. I feel like sometimes if I'm not nervous, I'm not as sharp, if that makes sense. So I think a little bit of nerves keeps you sharp, where a lot of nerves, then you just fall to pieces. You know, some people do, like they're trembling or shaking or something. So Kimmy said our church does a kids piano night, and every time there is a fifth Wednesday. That's awesome. I think that's a great idea. Encourage your kids. If your churches have like kids choirs, encourage them to sing in the kids choir. Eventually we're going to have a choir here. We do specials at our church, so we have special music. We do have offertories. We have special offertories. Carrie and I, the other pianist at church, we rotate Sunday mornings. So we both try to do a nicer offertory on Sunday morning, just a hymn Sunday night, Wednesday night. But yes, Ashley, I do. Do you make your kids perform at church like a solo if they are shy? I do. I have really pushed that. I have really pushed that and encouraged that. And we used to do fine arts competition, and my introverted oldest son hated it. And we made him give a speech one time, and he hated it. But I think it's good to encourage children to step out of their comfort zone for that. And, you know, they get credit for it. They got credit for music lessons for school. So, you know, it's not for naught. So I would encourage that. But, you know, on the flip side of that, one of the things with being confident is that sometimes I have a hard time if I am listening to another speaker and she is super nervous. That just makes me nervous, first of all. But I have a hard time not critiquing them, or, you know, because I do it with myself. Sometimes I'll actually watch my Gently Led Sisters videos to make sure I'm not saying too much, to make sure I'm not saying one phrase a lot, to kind of see what I can fine tune, because public speaking is an art, and it is something that you have to work at and you have to get good at. And sometimes it's hard to think on your toes. So I do watch videos of myself just to fine tune things and make sure I'm not saying a phrase that's annoying or things like that. So Samantha says, I'm very introverted, but I sing solos at church. I stare off in space, hold on to the mic for dear life, and try not to shake too badly. I remember one time there was a girl at my old church, and she was doing a solo, and she was so nervous. My husband was behind her because he is a song leader on the platform, and he said her legs were just shaking so badly. She was so nervous. He felt so bad for her. And it's hard not to act like you're nervous, but you got to fake it sometimes, because I've found that people's nerves rub off on other people, and you can sense it. Other people can sense when you're nervous, and then that just makes them nervous and uptight. So if you're calm and you're poised and you're at ease, that helps everyone else be calm and at ease and comfortable. So yeah, it's hard for me not to critique things, or sometimes though I'm doing it in a good way because I want to pick up something good. I want to learn how to speak better when I'm speaking in front of ladies. I want to learn how to fine tune some of the stuff I do. So yes, and Leanne said, even if you're nervous, smile. It will come off as not nervous. Yes, don't just be like, Allie, my daughter would be good at that. I've always tried to tell my kids that. Smile. It's so much better. My boys do not have that down yet, but they look like someone's holding a gun to them when they're singing in church. Look up some of my videos on YouTube and you'll see what I'm talking about. I'm trying to get them to smile more, definitely. It's hard to think about. And you don't want to look cheesy. Don't be like up there smiling. Look, that'll be the thing that makes the thumbnail. Just wait. Me doing that cheesy thing. So another thing about an extrovert is we have a lot of confidence. But if you have too much confidence, you know, there's a fine line between confidence and arrogance. You don't want to be arrogant. I don't particularly like arrogant people. I don't like people that are know-it-alls, that think they know more than everyone else, that think it's their way or the highway. I don't like that, and I don't want to be that way. So I am a very confident person. That was something that was being the firstborn, I think, plays into that. A lot of firstborns are. The parents put a lot more responsibility on them. And so it just kind of develops confidence as they grow up. My mom was always pushing us to do more. And it's fine. As a parent, I don't want you to think that this whole topic tonight means never push your kids to be something, you know, better than what they are. I'm not saying that. I'm going to try to explain myself as we go. So it's hard because there's like a line between staying comfortable and stagnant. You know, even in your Christian life, staying stagnant. But there's a line between that and, you know, just trying to be something that you're not. So you want to find the balance. You want to be able to push yourself, but you want to also be able to realize that you do have weaknesses, and maybe it's just something you can't do or you shouldn't do if it's going to stress you out too much. So I'm going to try to explain what I mean as we go. So, you know, some extroverts, a lot of extroverts are go-getters. You know, they're very determined, they're go-getters, but the flip side of that can be that they become a workaholic and they put things before their family, they put things before their housework, etc. if you're a stay-at-home mom. So you have to watch that. I've seen that in my own life, that I have to be careful about that. I become so focused on one thing that everything else kind of falls by the wayside. So once again, it's all about balance. It's about, you know, taking the break when you need it, but then also realizing when you need to put your nose to the grindstone and getting things done. So a lot of extroverts are organized, but a lot of extroverts are not. I'm kind of somewhere in the middle. I'm like an organized person, but with a lot of kids. So it doesn't always happen. I have like all these things that I would like for my house to look like and be like, but I've got 7 kids running around destroying everything. Not literally, but it's really hard to keep organized especially when, you know, like as far as the kitchen, when my daughter cleans it most of the time, if, you know, even if I have a spot for something, chances are it's going to get moved or whatever. So, you know, too much organization, if you are organized, too much organization can make you a stressed out mama who hates having the house messy. You know, your kids have to walk on eggshells because you're going to freak out because they left the pan out or they put something, you know, and I've really had to work on that in my life. As I have more and more kids, I realize my expectations need to be a lot lower because, like, think about it. When you clean the house for company, you basically want the kids to like sit on the couch and not move. And because they just mess things up, you know, they're going to get toys out, whatever. And do you want to be like that your whole life? I don't want to be stressed out like that my whole life. So you have to be careful when it comes to that. You know, a lot of extroverts, they love life. But at the flip of the switch, the flip side is that you can be in the dumps, despondent. You have up and down emotions. A lot of extroverts are like that. Now, this can be true for introverts as well. I think extroverts are just more, they wear their heart on their sleeve though. I feel like I am that way. If I'm having a bad day, I am all about texting my friends and be like, I'm having a horrible day, or my husband, I'm having a horrible day. I'm losing my mind. I'm going to run away, you know, things like that. I'm just like texting them like mad. But I've noticed with a lot of my introvert friends, they're not as free with the, not knowledge, what am I looking for? They're not as information. They're not as free with their information. I can kind of sense if something's wrong, but I kind of have to pry it out of them. They're like, you know, shut. And I have to kind of pry that open. Like, to get the oyster out. I have to get the information out. I have to pry it open. Where me, I'm just like, you want to hear about my day? This is how I went. And I just spill it all. So, you know, I guess introverts can be that way too, but I found that introverts are more private with their feelings. And at least in my experience with my introvert friends. A lot of extroverts have a strong sense of morals. I was raised in a Christian home. I've always had a strong sense of morals, but the weakness outside of that is that you can hold people to too high of a standard. You know, you have a hard time giving grace where you need to be given grace. And I have learned a lot in the area as I grow, and especially becoming a pastor's wife. When you invest so much love and time in your church people, you do want to have grace because you care for them and you want them to succeed. You know, you don't want to kick everyone out of the church because you're annoyed at them. You want them to succeed in their life. You want them to live happy, fulfilled lives. So I feel like since I've become a pastor's wife, I've had an easier time extending grace with people because I've invested so much time and effort into our church and our church family and things like that. So, but that is one thing you have to look for. You have to watch out for as an extrovert. And another thing that kind of goes along with this is, you know, a lot of extroverts are strong-willed. It just kind of comes with the personality, even though introverts can be strong-willed. My best friend, she's got a silent strong will. I have more of a loud strong will. But, you know, being strong-willed is not a bad thing in and of itself, because I feel like, especially in the day and age that we live in, we need some strong-willed Christians the right way. Okay, like I'm talking about strong. They're gonna stand in their pea patch and they're not going to back down. You know, they're gonna take a stand in there no matter what the world throws at them. They're not going to back down. And we need Christians like that. So being strong-willed in and of itself is not a bad thing. You just have to steer that will in the right direction. And we have a couple strong-willed kids. And I see them being the future leaders, you know, of their churches, because it is the strong-willed ones that usually are faithful, they're loyal, they're steadfast, and we do need that. So, but, you know, the flip side of that is obviously if they are determined to go the wrong way, then that's not a good thing. So, okay, so that's a lot of the extroverts. If you guys can think of any other extrovert personality traits, just go ahead and put them down. That is a lot of mine. A lot of those are my strengths, but those strengths can become weaknesses if I'm not careful, and I'm not perfect. I have not honed out everything exactly right. I still have to apologize sometimes when I put my foot in my mouth because maybe I said something I shouldn't have. I was too blunt, you know, things like that. I was teasing when I shouldn't have been. So I definitely am a work in progress. I can say I've come far since I started this journey of becoming a woman of God, but I have a lot. I have, you know, when I'm 80 and I'm looking back, I'm going to be like, man, when I was 38, I was such a child. So, you know, we all grow. We're all at different levels. So let's talk about introverts though. Okay, so I'm not an introvert, obviously, but every single one of my close friends are. My mom was. My mother-in-law is. I have a couple sisters that are. A couple sister-in-laws that are. And all my close friends are introverts. So I understand, especially more now that I do have daughters that are introverts. I have just basically one daughter that's an introvert. I have an introvert son and an introvert daughter. My oldest son, my eldest daughter are both introverted. And so I've kind of learned how to connect a little bit better. They still kind of, you know, there's different things that rub me the wrong way, but that's just because we have completely different ways of looking at things. So what are some good character traits of being an introvert? Okay, I have found that a lot of introverts are very compassionate. They're very caring. And, you know, the flip side of that is the same thing I was talking about with David. Maybe they're too easy on people. You know, maybe they want to extend too much grace to people and that in turn turns into people kind of walking all over them and that's one area where, introverts have to be careful because they are not as vocal about their feelings and their emotions. And so people can take advantage of them. So, introverts need to watch out for that. And of course, I'm going to say that because I'm the type of person that's like, I don't want people walking all over me. So I'm going to stick up for myself. And one thing I've noticed when it comes to my introvert friends and my introverted sister, the one right below me is introverted, I was always her like protector. Growing up, she was always like right behind me. And when people would ask her something she didn't want to answer, she kind of just ducked into me and I would answer for her. And my mom said that she didn't even start talking until she was a few years old because I would talk for her. I would answer everything for her. But I have always been her protector. And even though we are completely opposite in how we're living our lives now, and she's across the state, not the state, she doesn't live in Illinois, she used to, she's across the country, I am still like her mama bear. I'm still protective of her. And I feel like, I'll stick up for my introvert friends and I'll get mad. Sometimes I'll get more mad at things that people do to my family and my friends than me. So, but yeah, sometimes, Samantha said, if anything, I feel like sometimes I give too much grace. Yeah. And so you have to watch out for that. I don't know. Introverts are very perceptive of the true nature of people because they listen and they watch a lot. So I have noticed this about introverts. They're very perceptive. They sit back. They're not talking as much as the extrovert. The extrovert's talking. So the introvert's sitting back watching the extroverts talk. So the introvert is able to say things. They're able to discern things about people. Now, I do like to people watch a lot too. I don't always like to talk. Sometimes I just like to sit back and I like to watch people trying to figure them out. It's a little game I play with myself. I like to try to figure people out. And I'll try to pick up on stuff. So I'm not always an extrovert. Sometimes I can be introverted too. But introverts, I do notice since they talk less, they see more. They listen more. They hear more than extroverts do. But on the flip side of that, sometimes that strength can become a weakness and where maybe they misjudge someone. You can't always go off of, first meetings or first, the first judgment of someone. What is that called? There's a word for it. I am not thinking well tonight. I have been like messing up my words all day. My kids are laughing at me because I think it's because I'm so tired because I never sleep because Kelly hasn't slept through the night yet. So I'm tired all the time. So now I'm yawning thinking about it. But yeah, not first glance. What is it called? Yes. Oh my goodness, I could not think of that. First impression. Yes, it's the first impression. My goodness, I'm tired. So the first impression of people, you can't always go off the first impression. So be careful with that. Okay, a lot of introverts are very patient. They're very patient. They're very laid back. At least all the introverts I know. And the flip side of that, it can become their weakness because they're so patient they don't get anything done. Sometimes people will tell me, I don't know how you get the stuff done that you do. And I'm like, because I'm like a whirlwind. I get all the kids, I enlist all the kids, like, let's do this now, right now. Come on. It doesn't have to be perfect. Let's just get it done. Because I'm not a perfectionist when it comes to getting things done. A lot of introverts are. They're perfectionists and they are so patient that and so easygoing. They don't have much drive. I'll do it tomorrow. That can be an extroverted quality too. But I have noticed a lot more in introverts, because they are patient. So, they have to have some kind of get up and go get them. So, see, so, my introverts on here that are talking in the chat, they're saying that yeah, they're agreeing with me. So, Samantha says, my friends say I'm freakishly patient. My best friend is too. I am just amazed at her patience. But see, she's always talking about how she wishes she had some of my gumption. So if I could just take some of my gumption and inject it in her and take some of her patience and inject it in me would be the perfect, there you go. We both have the perfect personality. So a lot of introverts, like I said, are go with the flow, but they're so go with the flow The weakness of that is that there's no schedule at all. So it's like sleep till 8, sleep till 10, do school today, don't do school tomorrow, and I feel like, especially if you're in a homeschool, my opinion is that you should have some basic schedule, because it would be real easy just to take days off here and there. And then you're unschooling, and you don't want to unschool. You need to have schooling for your children. If you're going to homeschool, you need to do it right. So that's my opinion. Introverts are silently stubborn. Okay? They're very silently stubborn. And my best friend is like this. You would never, she's so sweet, and she's so kind, and she's so patient, and she's so gentle. But inside, she is a tiger, and she is very stubborn, and it's very silent, but she is very, very stubborn at times. So, but sometimes in life, I feel you don't just want to be silently stubborn on the inside. Sometimes you need to be bold about things. You need to be bold in your stands for Christ. And I feel like introverts a lot of times are very, very scared to really voice their boldness. And I feel like that can be a weakness. Maybe I feel like that's a weakness because, I don't know, I like bold people, and I like bold Christians and things like that. So Gina, silently stubborn. Yeah, it's all my introverted friends are silently stubborn. But, sometimes you have to tell people what you're feeling. You have to express your stand that you're taking in a certain area. And I feel like introverts really struggle with this. So that can be a weakness. Introverts have a very strong sense of loyalty to those that they love. And I'm the same way too, being an extrovert. But most introverts, they are, if you are an extrovert and you come along and you adopt an introvert, you'll probably be friends for life. And that's what I found. All my introverted friends were friends for life, because, you just have a strong sense of loyalty to them, and they're very, very deep people, I believe. A lot of introverts are. But you know what, that can become a weakness, because sometimes, ties do need to be broken. Maybe you have a toxic relationship with someone in your family, or a very old friend that you just feel you're just so loyal to, but they're going the wrong way, and maybe they're influencing you, and they're getting into your head, and they're making you question, am I doing the right thing? There's some relationships you are not obligated to have toxic people in your life. And so, the weakness to being too loyal is that you have a really hard time breaking ties that maybe need to be broken. So, especially if you have children, you don't want your children around, the wrong influences. And if you're really, really close to someone, chances are you're going to be around them a lot. You don't want your children learning things from them and things. Your priority is to your children. So introverts, they need time alone, obviously. And I need time to decompress too. Maybe not as much as an introvert does, but I do need time just to breathe in, especially if we've been at church all day. We always get to bed real late on Sunday night, because my husband and I, even though he's an extrovert too, we've been talking with people all day long. So when we get home, we just need time to chill. We just need to watch something on YouTube, but just sitting around, just let the kids play a little. So we don't usually get to bed till like 10 on Sunday night, because we just need time to chill. So, but the flip side, that needing time alone, the weakness to that can be, you get too reclusive. And there's a lot of introverts that they do end up becoming recluses, because, and here's where the fine line comes in with introverts. I do not think that introverts need to go out of their way to work on becoming a speaker if they absolutely hate it. It causes them to break out in hives and a sweat and throw up every time they have to do it. But I do believe that you need to push yourself to at least learn how to mingle with people, carry on a conversation, maybe be in awkward situations sometimes. Push yourself to do that. You have to function as a human being. And part of functioning is being around other human beings. So definitely don't go and buy yourself an island and stay there for the rest of your life. even though that sounds tempting to some of you sometimes, I'm sure. But you know, we're going to get like the speaking thing. Okay, let's talk about the speaking thing. So this is an area where I have learned through my life that there are some people that are made to be speakers, and then there's other people that are not. And I don't really I believe in pushing yourself and getting out of your comfort zone, but I do not believe in trying to do something that you are not meant for. Okay, it's like the guy that wants to be this preacher, and so he does everything for the wrong reasons. He gets married, he starts having kids, he has like a checklist. He only reads the Bible through because he wants to be a preacher. You know, he's just like marking all these things off a checklist when he might not even, you know, God might not even want him to be a preacher. So, Kimmy, I think you're an introvert. I do, but you know, because even introverts, they are very comfortable around people they know, and they'll talk a lot to people they know. So, but you know, when it comes to speaking, I have learned when it comes to doing something outside of your comfort zone, I will ask one time. Most of the time, if I know a person and I know their strengths and weaknesses and I know they're not good at, they do not feel comfortable with something, I won't even ask. But let's say that I do ask, okay? Like I wanted my best friend on the show really bad. I wanted you all to meet her. I wanted you all to see her. And she is an introvert max. And she has like no social media. She's not into that. She doesn't like it. And so I asked her and she said no. She actually thought about it. She usually thinks about stuff before she'll tell me the answer. And she's the same way with her kids. And she thought about it for about a day and she said no. So I'm not going to push her. I've learned that in life, the people that will not take no for an answer are usually bad people. And I actually learned this. I've been doing statement analysis. I took a statement analysis seminar this summer. I've been reading statement analysis books. I've been reading books about things. And just a minute, I've got to check this text that my daughter is sending me. Oh, that's funny. Kelly was being bad. No. So Abby gave her a bath. That's funny. Okay, sorry about that. So I've been reading all these books, and one thing that I've learned is that it does say a few times throughout it that a person that will not take no for an answer is usually not a good person. So you want to be careful about that. You know, learn to accept no and then move on. So yeah, psychos, Kimmy. You're right. Exactly. So learn to take no. Don't push someone that doesn't want to be pushed. Learn your limits and just don't push it. So if you're a speaker, you know, if you're not a speaker, if you're not naturally a speaker, don't feel bad if you don't want to do it. You know, this whole thing is about using your strengths and weaknesses. Using your strengths, learning about your weaknesses. So let's say that you're not good at speaking for like a baby shower or something, okay? But you're super great and you're super crafty and you're super good at decorations. So do that, you know, offer to do the decorations, offer to make the punch, offer to serve the food. Maybe you don't want to be in front of people, but you're great at cleanup. You're great at serving punch. Everyone's great at serving punch, right? So offer to do things that you're good at. Okay, in your church, think of different areas that you can help out. Let's say that you do not want to play the piano, you do not want to sing a solo, you do not want to speak at a ladies' event, but you're really, really good at making food. So you help make the food. And we have all these type of women in our church. We have women that are so good at cooking big batches of food, and that helps me out so much. We have women that are good at cleaning, and so they help clean. A lot of times I can't clean because I'm holding the baby or I'm dealing with Lana. I have little kids. And so I am so grateful for the ladies that pick up my slack when it comes to just having kids all over me, and they pitch in and they clean. That is such a blessing to me. You know, maybe you are not good at baking or cooking, but you're really, really good at setting up tables, decorating them. You have a gift for, you know, decorations. So You know, that's not really my forte. Decorating is not. As I'm talking, I'm realizing I don't have a lot of fortes. That is not my forte. So I need help when it comes to decoration. So I have another lady in the church that helps me, and she has a better eye, I feel, for it. You know, so if you're crafty, offer to help with the crafty things. If you are great at organizing, you know, offer to organize the storage room at the church. You know, if you're great at cleaning, get on the cleaning schedule. You know, you have to do what you're good at. You have to realize that we all have strengths. I don't even know what my strengths are. Like I said, I am I'm an extrovert. So I don't know, talking to people, is that even a strength? I don't know. I like to talk to people. And sometimes I do feel in church situations that sometimes it's better just to sit and chat with someone and instead of being a busy bee cleaning up. Sometimes people need to connect with you. And that's one way that you can help. You can help make your church a friendlier place by sitting and connecting with someone. So Kirsten said, I'm struggling to figure out what I can contribute to my church. I really want to be a bigger blessing. I feel like all I can do is watch my children. You know, Kirsten, even you being at your church is a blessing to your pastor. I'm talking anytime we have a full church, that is a huge blessing to me. That is just having people in the pews. That is a blessing in and of itself. Being faithful to church, smiling, being involved in the song service, you know, just singing and things like that. That is a huge blessing in and of itself. So you just, even if you try to go out of your way to welcome visitors, maybe that's a blessing. So Sherry asked, do you think most of extroverts don't have a forte? No, I think we all have fortes. We all have something we're good at. I am not good at crafts. I am not good at organizing stuff around the church, mainly just because I have kids all over me all the time. So a lot of my focus, like Kirsten said, when I'm at church is on my children. And that's just part of the package. As I get older though, you know, obviously my forte is music stuff. It's musical things, it's singing, it's, I have done Christmas programs in the past, like huge, huge programs. We rent out the Woodlawn Arts Academy. We rent their thing out for our Christmas dinner, and on stage we do huge Christmas programs that I have ran. I've organized the children, and we've done a huge play, memorized lines, costumes, microphones, everything. So yes, and Jen, I am definitely think that extroverts make good leaders. Yes, I am a good leader. Most extroverts are good leaders. That is one of my fortes. I'm able to organize people. I'm able to delegate. That is another good sign of leadership when you're able to delegate. Can you do this? Can you do this? Can you do that? That's one thing as an introvert that you can help out with. Maybe you can't delegate, but you can be delegated for one of the tasks. So just be available. You know, ask your pastor's wife, is there something that I can do to help you? You know, this is one area that I'm good at. Don't volunteer to cook for 100 people at a funeral if you hate cooking. You know, just know your limits. Realize your weaknesses. So that is one thing. I've seen some women, they just come in and they think they are like the queen of everything. Oh, I am good at decorating. I am good at cooking. I am good at baking. I am good at cleaning. I am good at organizing. Just let me do it all. And so you let them do some things and they completely fall apart and it's a complete disaster. So realize your weaknesses. Don't say you're good at something if you're not. Be socially aware. So, Samantha said, one of my strengths is filling people out. I've had people roll their eyes over it and not take me seriously, but I'm not usually wrong. Samantha, I'm with you. I'm good at filling people out too. Usually go with your gut too. Go listen to Mrs. Anderson, one of my friends. Are They All Yours? Go listen to Susanna Anderson's channel where she talks about trust your gut. It's usually right. So God gave us gut instincts for something. Jen said, I feel like I'm a mixture of both. I'm not sure though. It seems like it depends on my season in life. Yes. One of my friends says that she was an extrovert until she had children and now she's an introvert. So she said that her children made her into an introvert. And I think she even gets all her kids' food and then she eats by herself in silence after they're done because she just needs that silence. So, you know, I do think different seasons in life we do have different personality traits that come out and things. So yeah, I definitely can see that. And even sometimes I can be a little introverted. Sometimes I've just been around people too much and I just need to be in my home and go take a bath. Take a long bath and be with myself, listen to some music, read a book. And we all do need a little bit of peace and quiet. Even the most extroverted of the extroverts need some peace and quiet. So Ashley said, what is the best way to decline something at church? I have noticed if I decline it, upsets the person asking. Like the one time I was asked to be on the flower and decorating committee and I said no. Well, then that person just has problems and they haven't come to realize to just accept no. Like I said before, if someone won't take no, that's not your problem. That's on them. So I would just politely just do that. Just politely tell them I really can't. I would love to maybe at some point in my life, but right now, I just can't do it. Or just tell them, that is not my forte. I do not decorate very well. I don't really know much about flower decorations. So I'm going to have to pass on that. Maybe say, is there something else that you need help with? Something that's more along the lines of what I'm good at? Or you can just say, at this time of my life, I have too many responsibilities and I can't volunteer to do anything else. Like I said, it's usually bad people are the ones that won't accept no for an answer. So watch out for that. Watch out for someone who's overly pushy and has an agenda and won't accept no for an answer. Learn to graciously, as this is a lesson for all of you listening, learn to graciously accept no. Ask, and then if they don't want to or they don't feel comfortable with it, and then also learn to say no. I feel badly if I feel like I ask someone to do something, but I can tell they want to tell me no, but they feel bad telling me no because I asked them, so they don't want to tell me no. And then I feel bad because they're like, no, I'll do it. I'm like, well, then I feel bad. Then I feel like I'm forcing them into something that they don't want to do. So, sometimes I won't even ask if I feel, like someone's uncomfortable with it. So for all the ladies in my church, if you ever want to do something, don't sit around waiting for me to ask. Just come to me about it. Because I probably, if I feel like you're going to feel uncomfortable about it, I won't even ask you. I would just rather do it myself. I would rather do something myself than make someone else uncomfortable doing something they're not comfortable with. That's just my personality. Maybe that's part of the whole leadership thing. But the flip side of that can be a weakness because then I can take too much on and overwhelm myself. I remember one of the first funerals we did here. It was awful. I had a 1.5-year-old. We were not too far into, Allie was little. She was maybe 2. We were not too far into our church plant, and one of the gentleman's wife died. And I took it on myself. I don't know what I was thinking, but I cooked the whole funeral meal by myself. So I stayed up. I had, how many kids did I have? 5. I had 5 kids at the time, little 2-year-old. I stayed up till 2 or 3 in the morning cooking all these pans of mastacholi. I did garlic bread, salad. I had so much left over even. So I cooked more than enough food for even more than 100 people. And I was just like, that was so stupid. And of course, back then it was really pretty much just me and my husband doing it. And, but I've learned since then, you learn to take shortcuts. You learn to delegate. You learn to ask women, can you bring this? Can you bring this? And you learn to do fried chicken. So you're not up cooking all night long. So you learn as you do ministry things, but oh, that was a life. Yeah, Kimmy said, I hate when I bite off more than I can chew. I do too, and it leads to a very panicky feeling, and no one likes to feel panicked about anything. Jessica said, the book, The Gift of Fear, is a good book that talks about no means no and trusting your instincts. Yes, that is one of the books that's one of my favorite books ever. So definitely read that. Samantha said, I know someone who cannot take no for an answer. He wants a 5-page paper with footnotes as to why. I'll try to refute every reason. He's a family member, so it's not as simple to distance myself. I have distanced myself from family members in the past, and I probably will in the future. As long as they don't live right down the street, you can cut things off. You can cut Facebook off and social media. You don't need to follow them. You don't need to be friends with them on there. So Amanda said, I have taken on everything and then cried the whole time while completing tasks. Yes, it's something that, especially us pastors' wives, we can really fall into the trap of. So that's another leadership strength and weakness that we can fall into. Biting off more than we can chew, taking on too much, that is all directly related to it. So I hope I made sense in this. Like I said, I do not want this to be an encouragement to be stagnant in any area of your life, but I do want this to be an encouragement to realize your strengths and use those, and realize your weaknesses and not feel guilty if you don't want to use those, okay? One of my weaknesses, like I said, is crafty things. So if someone comes along and volunteers to do the decorations for baby showers, I am going to love that. I am not going to be offended. I'm going to say, yes, you're amazing. Thank you. Because I know my weakness is decorating. If it wasn't for Pinterest, I've done some cute baby showers in the past, all because of Pinterest. If it wasn't for Pinterest, I would be most lost indeed. In fact, I look at pictures of my wedding. My mom, this was not her forte either. I look at pictures of my wedding and I'm like, can't I go back and have a Pinterest wedding? Because they were pretty lame. My decorations were pretty lame. So I wish I could do over on that. Definitely. I could have gotten so many ideas for that from Pinterest. So yeah, if it wasn't for Pinterest, then it would have been some pretty lame stuff in the past. So, oh, thank you, Jen. That makes me feel better. She said, I am the worst at crafts. So am I. Leslie was always the crafty one on this channel. She was always the one wanting to do the wreaths, which we haven't done. Oh, just because it's not my forte. I was always so lost when we were doing those. 6 Million said, if you're not sure what your talents are to help with the church, or to help the church, maybe try different things. Not being the first in command, and you may find your niche. Yes. Dollar Tree craft night. Do you ladies want to do another Dollar Tree craft night? Because if you want to do one, we'll do one. But I stink at them, like really badly. So leave a comment if you want to do another Dollar Tree craft night. And it's been almost an hour, so someone already said yes. Come on. Okay, who wants to be my guest for that show? Okay, so we need a crafty person to volunteer. Okay, so we need a crafty person to volunteer who is very, very crafty, that you can come on and be the guest and show me how to do it. Okay, Leslie, we need someone to come on and show us. Yeah, she is very good she's very, very good. Is Kimmy crafty? Kimmy, are you crafty? Oh, you'd be funny, Kimmy. You could show us all how to do that. You show us all how to do the wreath. Maybe I can get Kimmy on here to do it. That would be fun. Everyone's saying Kimmy. So Kimmy is like the lady to do this. Samantha said, I'm not a crafty person either, so I skipped those. All right, Kimmy, you got to come on now because like everyone's saying your name. Look at all those comments saying Kimmy. Kimmy, Kimmy. See, even Karen said Kimmy. So I guess you're the one. Ava, are you? Oh yeah, Leanne Burcham. Yeah, she's never been on. Everyone's saying Kimmy. Okay, Kimmy, you got to show us like this crafty skills that you've got, apparently. Volunteers tribute. That's hilarious. So maybe we can have Kimmy on. Fall crafting time. We need to break out the fall decorations. So maybe we can organize that. I totally forgot about that. Oh, that is not my thing. If you all want to see me fail at making a wreath, I think that's what you want. Okay. So we got this shirt. So I did not say any Bible verses in the beginning. Shame on me. You know, one thing though that really bugs me too about women speakers sometimes is they tend to get into preaching mode, and we're not preachers. I mean, we are when we're like out giving the gospel. That's different. But I'm talking about, I don't like this preachy attitude towards other women. You know, men are supposed to be the preachers. And I feel like as ladies, we can get everything we need out of the preaching from good men of God that are preaching. So I don't ever want to come across as preachy. I just want to come across as, this is my opinion. So, you know, sometimes I will use Bible verses, but then other times I just don't want to read like huge chapters of the Bible and come across as I'm trying to preach to you. So I'm totally missing the chat. Okay, what is a bunting? I don't even know what a bunting is. See? Maybe Dollar Tree place settings for the holidays. My favorite holiday is also Thanksgiving. Love Thanksgiving. You don't have the pressure of the gifts, but you have the family time and the good food. Favorite holiday, hands down. And plus, it's in the fall. Favorite season of the year. Yeah, I love Thanksgiving. Oh, thanks, Jessica. She said she loved our wreaths. Only because Kimmy is a Dollar Tree queen. That is true. What is a bunting? Kimmy, see, I'm not the only one. Ruth doesn't know what a bunting is either. Bunting? It's a banner? What do you do with a banner? What would you even do with a banner? Like, hang it up on the wall? See, I don't know. I'm so illiterate when it comes to crafts. All right, well, Kimmy will have to explain to us what all that is. Maybe she can do a little video and I can upload it on Gently Led Sisters so she can explain. Sometimes it's like flags. Kirsten said, I think of hush baby bunting. Yes, I think of babies, like baby bunting. That's what I think of when I think of bunting. So a kid craft, that would be fun. My daughter Chloe has actually told me we need to do a kid craft one. So yes, that would be true. Maybe we could combine it. Maybe we could do like the first part, us doing ours, and then she has kids, if they wouldn't mind being on. And then maybe they could do, the second part could be for kids. So we could do like both. Like we could do a mother-daughter trip to, I'm like thinking of all this stuff now. Do a mother-daughter trip to Dollar Tree. And then the moms could buy their stuff. The daughters could buy their stuff. So let's make slime. Oh, please not. Yes, Jen, share it to the GLS Facebook page. Yeah, do that. Jen said. So yeah, Kimmy, do that. Share it to the GLS page. Definitely. Show a picture of what you're thinking, because I don't know what it is. I'm going to have to Google bunting now after I'm done. So slime is my worst enemy too. I just found it. Where did I find it? No, that was Silly Putty. Oh, Silly Putty just got on the carpet at my house. Oh, she's on Facebook deactivated status. She can put a photo on your Instagram. We'll put a photo on your Instagram and I'll snag it and then I'll upload it. I'll put it on the GLS Facebook page. So, all right, but to the shirt now, okay? So Gently Led Sisters, extra large. Morgan, you got your shirt, right? Kelly likes GLS. Hi, Kelly. Kelly sees her mama. That's cute. Okay, so what was one of the examples at the beginning? You just have to name one. One of the biblical examples, I named at least 3 different men. What was one of the men that I named? This is for the giveaway, for the shirt. What was one of the men that I named for the giveaway? Okay, good. Morgan got her shirt. First one to name one of the, yep, Kimmy got it. Ding, ding, ding. Kimmy, do you have one of these shirts? Do you have a black one? So Kimmy got it. She said David. Taylor was right behind her. She does have a shirt. Kimmy has a shirt. Do you want another one or do you want me to pass this on to Taylor Homestead? Just let me know. You can pick the next person. All right. Taylor, it's you then. Taylor Homestead, you got it. So what you need to do is you need to private message me. I did do Saul too. So Taylor Homestead, you need to private message me or email me at gentlyledsisters@gmail.com and give me your address so I can send this out this week. Okay? So, Kimmy, you made someone happy because you passed it on. You passed the love on. So there is that. I will get that sent out this week. Thank you all, ladies. I hope I was coherent. I feel like I stumbled around a lot. If I watch this one, I'm going to be like taking notes. Okay, you need not to say that. You need to say this. You need not to say that. You need to stop this habit. You need to stop doing that. You need to stop playing with your hair. You need to start looking here. I do that all the time. Always trying to be better, but work on your strengths and fine-tune your strengths too. but realize your weaknesses and don't feel bad. Don't let anyone pressure you into something that you're not totally comfortable with, something that's going to make you sick to your stomach and puking and throwing up for a month. You don't want that. So just email me then, Taylor. Email me at gentlyledsisters@gmail.com. So, all right, there's a lot of ladies watching tonight. I had fun. I missed doing it last week. My voice, Sunday it was completely gone. So this was a bad virus. My sore throat lasted 12 days. It was horrible. 13 days, something like that. So anyways, hopefully you got something out of it. We will talk to you next week. I will get on that whole bunting thing, craft thing. And we will try to do that within the next couple weeks for fall. So, all right, we'll talk to you guys later. Bye.